Hi, it's Terrie Carr, and you are inside DHA's Box of Rock, where we get you up close and personal with your favorite rockers. This week, part 2 of my exclusive WDHA conversation with the one and only living legend, Alice Cooper. I get to talk to Alice about probably the scariest thing on the planet, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But we begin our chat with who Alice thinks is best carrying the torch for him in the genre of music he created, shock rock.
Well, I think Rob Zombie's got the closest look at it because of the fact that he gets the fact that rock and roll, comedy, and horror are in bed together. You can't just have horror for horror's sake. It has to be played against romance, it has to be played against a mother and a child in peril, or comedy. And so it's so much easier to write, it's so much harder to establish a story with all that, with romance. So you have to play it against, against comedy. And then your sense of humor has to be how subtle you want to be with this. Sometimes when things get so over the top violent, it just starts getting funny. The first time I saw Evil Dead, I was sitting there and I'm watching this, I'm going, there can't be any more blood in this movie. And then right as I said that, a pipe broke, and he gets covered in blood, and I just burst out laughing. The new Destination, Final Destination.
Final Destination. I haven't seen it yet.
I was laughing my head off, and everybody in the theater was looking at me. My other guitar player, Tommy, we were hysterical because the deaths were so ridiculously over the top that you had to laugh. Yeah. I mean, if you weren't laughing there, you were really off base on it.
Yeah, Rob's always been kind of like your offspring, I guess, and really sort of gets it.
Honestly, it could be my little brother.
Yeah, definitely.
Rob and I get along really well together, and Manson I've only met once, but I didn't find that sense of humor with Manson.
Yeah.
I thought it felt a little bit serious, and then Slipknot, are more of an industrial show. Right. But Gaga's
most definitely
gets it. I mean, she created her own character. She wrote for that character, produced it for that character, and because I met her backstage, she was nothing like the character, which I thought was exactly like that.
Yeah, like you. Yeah. Actually, we're going to let Alice go too, because he's got to sort of get into character. But one more final question that I want to, well, it's not really a question, it's sort of a comment. Thank God that this was the year you got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I've been at WDHA, I'm going to date myself now, about 20 years. And I got to tell you, since the Hall started, there were 3 artists that the listeners go insane over every year. Yeah. It's Kiss, it's Rush, and it's Alice. So right now, you're in, and I'm so glad I only have to hear about the other 2. Congratulations.
That was the thing about it, was that I got so tired of trying to answer that question.
I know.
How come you're not in the Hall of Fame?
Well, you're in now.
And I go, there's no answer for that, right? Because I don't know how it works.
It's that goofy exclusive club, but you know what? They wanted you in, and you're not going to say no.
And I think maybe it paved the way for Kiss and Rush and Iron Maiden and bands like that, because we were definitely the year they called the Outcast year. Tom Waits, Alice Cooper, Dr. John. The only one in there that was really kind of homogenized to the whole thing was Neil Diamond.
Right.
I mean, I thought he was in 20 years ago.
Right, me too. I'm going, Neil Diamond was never in.
He's an outcast. I loved it.
An amazing accomplishment for rock and roll, certainly, to get you in.
Yeah, I think it was a strike on our side.
Yeah, definitely. And welcome to My Nightmare, the brand new one. 35 years later, the nightmare continues with Alice Cooper. This has been a huge treat for me. I remember being a kid and having to stay up and watch the Midnight Special and Don Kirshner's rock concert and hoping that Alice was on the hour that I was able to stay awake for.
Now, did you have to sneak out to see me?
No. My parents let me watch.
Because that was a lot more fun if you got in trouble for sneaking out.
Well, but I had to hope you were on the first 60 minutes and not the last 30 minutes, because I wasn't allowed to stay up till 1 a.m. So this is amazing. Thank you so much, Alice Cooper.
That's great. Thank you, dear. That's great.
Love him. With Alice Cooper. How jealous are you? I want to thank the one and only Alice Cooper for sitting down with DHA's Box of Rock with me. Alice is such an amazing, candid, and humble interview, and I've been a fan since I was a kid, so this for me was just a fantastic treat. Pick up your copy of Welcome to My Nightmare, the sequel to Welcome to My Nightmare 35 years later. Love Alice. Thank you so much. For DHA's Box of Rock, I am Terrie Carr, and this time of year always makes me feel a little magical. Do I have the power? I'll see you tomorrow at 10.